What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Emma if you're new here, and I love to talk about all things Peloton cycling and fitness. So be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I post every single Sunday and today's video is going to be so fun. I'm so excited. I'm going to be reviewing Peloton's BLINK-182 Artist Series classes. I am a huge BLINK-182 fan. They're pretty much my favorite band growing up. I was like burning people Enema of the State CDs when I was in middle school. I just love them. So I was so happy last night when I logged on to pick out my Peloton classes for the next morning and I saw that a bunch of BLINK-182 classes dropped. And even better, it seems like Travis Barker makes an appearance in some of them, which I think is just hilarious. He's the drummer of BLINK-182. I'm more of a Mark Hoppus girly myself, but you know, I can appreciate a Travis Barker cameo too. So there are 6 classes in this drop that are not German. There's 2 German classes. I will not be taking those. And out of the 6, I'll take everything except for the rowing class by Matt Wilpers. I would love to take it. Sadly, I do not have access to a rower. So we will be taking 5 BLINK-182 classes this week, which I'm still very excited about. So today I'm going to start off by taking the 10-minute BLINK-182 shadowboxing class by Kendall Toole from November 16th, 2023. And you can see Travis Barker in the background of this thumbnail, and it appears he's going to be drumming along in the background, which I just think is hilarious. The description is, with special guest Travis Barker, get hooked with Kendall in a shadowboxing session fueled by the punchy pop-punk hits of BLINK-182 and featuring a special drum performance by Barker, joining from his studio in California. But it seems like he's actually there. I don't know if this was filmed in California. We'll see. I'm not a huge shadowboxing girly. It's not something that I like gravitate towards, but I will take it for Kendall and I'll take it for Travis Barker. I'm very intrigued with that one. And once I've kind of warmed up a little bit with the shadowboxing class, I'm gonna jump on the treadmill for a 30-minute BLINK-182 run by Camila Ramon from November 16th, 2023. And the songs look great. They're like all old music pretty much, which is my favorite BLINK-182 music. Like I know every single song. I'm so excited. And the description is, one more time, push your pace with Camila in a run powered by the pop-punk hits of BLINK-182, back and better than ever with a chart-topping new album. So it's interesting because they're definitely doing this to like promote their new album that's come out recently, but it's like not songs that are from this album, but no complaints there. I'm happy with the old songs. I also feel like Peloton did a pretty good job picking instructors. Like Kendall has a very big brand of being pop punk. Camila also, she's done like a bunch of pop punk classes. So I'm excited. I think it will be really fun. And if nothing else, I know I'll love the music. It is a Friday morning and I feel like this is just a great way to kick off the weekend. So let's first do the shadowboxing class. That shadowboxing class was pretty much what I was expecting. Definitely not complicated. Any beginner could do it. We did like 1 or 2 combos, but mostly did jab cross and like uppercuts and like side cuts just over and over again. The main star of the show was Travis Barker, who drummed the whole time. And it was just so fun. I feel like Kendall had great energy. Travis Barker had great energy. We were just having a fun time. Like sometimes Kendall was basically just like, do whatever you want, and it's just like flailing around dancing to BLINK-182. If you don't like BLINK-182, definitely skip this class, but if you do, I think it's a fun one, even if you don't normally take shadowboxing. It is cool to see Travis Barker drum. Like in my opinion, obviously I'm biased, but Travis Barker is one of the most talented drummers. So it is really cool to see him perform. And I think the funniest part for me at the end is Kendall's like, oh, we're gonna do a stretch, like Travis, you can join. And he did the stretch and it was just so funny. So a great little 10-minute class to warm up, like no real complaints. It's what I expected. And now I'm ready to hit the treadmill and knock out this 30-minute run, which I'm a little nervous about. I feel like Camila could really bring it today. As you can see, I had to shower after that class because I was so sweaty. I was going pretty hard. The music was definitely motivating, but really no notes. I absolutely love that class. The music was definitely a huge part, but there were people in studio. I feel like the energy was just so good. I'm so jealous of the people that got to experience that live. It must have been so fun. And during the class, I'm like, I don't know. I used to think that Take Off Your Pants and Jacket was my favorite album by BLINK-182, but she played a lot of Enema of the State, and I was like, maybe this is my favorite album. But I feel like she just structured it really, really well. We started off and we got right on into it. That's the other thing. I feel like Camila doesn't typically do like easier fun runs or like fun rides. I feel like some instructors, when they get an artist series ride, they will modify it to make it pretty easy. This one I do believe anyone can do, and like obviously you can take breaks whenever, but we got right into it. Like we got into a jog, there wasn't a ton of walking recovery. Like this was still a class that we were going to work hard in, which I appreciate because I feel like sometimes it's boring if the class is too easy, and like this kind of music, it's upbeat, it's fun, like I want to run to it. So we did a jog, and then in the first half of the run, we did a lot of different like inclines. Nothing too crazy. I think the highest we went up to was like 5%. And obviously we kept it at a slower pace then. But you know, we were doing some rolling hill situations. I think we had a progression run in that. And the whole time we were listening to like very upbeat music. We had Feelin' This, What's My Age Again, Don't Leave Me. I was jamming out, and that was probably like the first 15 minutes. And then we did have one recovery song, which is off their new album, One More Time. And honestly, that song was just okay. I don't listen to a lot of their new stuff, but it was a good recovery song, a little bit slower. I walked for a little bit and then got back into the jog. And then the last half of the class was definitely more focused on speed. I don't think we did any incline. We did some fast runs. We had a progression run again. The progression run was like the last song, and it was Man Overboard. And I'm like, man, that was just a good song. Like, I feel like that song is so upbeat. And then our cool down song was Anthem Part 2, and I like love that song. I don't know, I feel like a lot of the songs she played are really popular BLINK-182 songs, but Anthem Part 2 was a random one in my opinion, and I was very happy to hear it as the wrap up. And yeah, I got good mileage in this class. 3.29 miles for a 30-minute class is pretty good for me, especially because there usually is like walking parts that slow down your speed. So overall, I was happy. It was a hard class, worked hard, but I just love the music. It was so fun. She's like, honestly, let's do this again. Like, how could I only pick 30 minutes of BLINK-182 songs? And I'm like, I agree with you. Let's make some more BLINK-182 content. So really, really great. I loved both classes today. I probably liked the run a little bit more just because I gravitate towards running. Like I would have done a run today anyways if I wasn't doing a BLINK-182 run. So that definitely helps, but both classes were super great, super fun. And if you love BLINK-182, I'd highly recommend. What a great way to kick off my Friday. It is now a couple of days later. Gotta spread out the BLINK-182 love, but I'm ready to get right back into it. Today I'm going to be doing the 30-minute BLINK-182 full body strength class, tagged intermediate by Andy Spear from November 16th, 2023. I've really been into Andy Spear lately, and the music looks incredible, mostly old music. I'm very excited to take this class, so let's go to the gym, hit the mat, and knock out this BLINK-182 strength class. I liked that class, but I didn't love it. I think there were a couple factors. So first off, in strength, I feel like I need to be way more focused than if I'm doing a cardio class. So I feel like I did really like the music, obviously, but a lot of the time I'm not focusing on the music. I'm focusing, on form, on what the next move is, on what weight I'm using, stuff like that. So it kind of takes away from like a music class. Music definitely isn't as important to me in a strength class as a cardio class, just because it's not my focus. That being said, the music was good, and like every once in a while I'd be like, oh yeah, like I love this song. Damn, like this is a good playlist. But for the most part, I was just focused on the strength. And then I feel like the strength programming was not bad by any means, but it wasn't anything special. I definitely did not hate it. Like Andy Spear is a pretty good programmer in my opinion, but I don't think that this was like anything spectacular. I think that in general, I'm just not a huge like single class strength person. I prefer the programs where, you know, we feel like we're like building into something. This is just kind of a one-off class, but we had a little 3-minute body weight warm up. No complaints there. That was good. And then we just had 2 like monster sets basically. So the first monster set was a front raise, lateral raise, reverse fly, and plank march. 30 seconds each with light weights, so I used 10 pounds. Then we got a little bit of a rest, and with a single heavy dumbbell, we did lateral lunges, front lunges, and then put down the dumbbell and did skater hops. So really just this giant set. We were really hitting everything, you know, arms and legs and core. I didn't hate it, but I just feel like it was okay, like nothing great. And we did that set 3 times. Obviously, that took up quite a bit of the class because it was so many moves. And then our second set, I liked a little bit better. We focused on one side at a time and we did it with one heavy weight. So we did a push press, then a dumbbell squat where we were just holding the weight on one side. I thought that was a little bit interesting. And then we did bent over rows, but like as we were rowing on the one side, we would step up with the foot that is on the same side that we're rowing. Little compound move, I like that. We hadn't done that before. That was probably my favorite move of the class. And then we did one-sided mountain climbers. So basically just like bringing the one foot up to the knee. And yeah, I like this set a little bit more. It was a little bit more of a push because I was using 20 pounds. And we did this set twice on both sides, so 4 times in all. And then right at the end, we had a little BLINK-182 AMRAP where we did 1 burpee, 8 lunge jumps. I just did backwards lunges because I am not a fan of the jumping. And then 2 T push-ups, which I also did on my knees. We were a little bit tired at the end, and yeah, I feel like this was just a gimmick. Like I'm not a huge fan of just doing like 1 burpee and then like 2 push-ups. I feel like that's not enough. But you know, I can appreciate that he is trying to link in the BLINK-182. And he also told some stories about like him going to Warped Tour and stuff, which I just think is funny. Overall, it was a good class, not a great class, kind of what I've said. So far, I think the run was the best, then the shadow boxing, and then this strength class out of the BLINK-182 classes. But I think that Kendall is gonna give Camila a run for her money when I take the cycling classes. It is now a few days later and it's actually Thanksgiving. I'm back in Pennsylvania for the long weekend, which is great. Excited to see my family and be reunited with the Peloton bike. I figured today is a great day to take some fun classes and then eat some Thanksgiving supper afterwards. I'm so excited. So I'll be taking the 10-minute BLINK-182 warm-up ride by Bradley Rose. I feel like Bradley Rose is a great pick for this. He does so many pop punk rides that I've already taken with him. I know he'll bring good vibes. And then the main event is the 30-minute BLINK-182 ride by Kendall Toole. I've seen so much hype around this ride. I'm so excited to take it. It seems like Travis Barker is kind of like spliced into this, so I don't think he's in the studio, but he is drumming along, which again, I just think is hilarious. I think Kendall is also a great pick. She's done so much pop punk stuff, and I just know she's going to bring great energy, and I also feel like she's going to push us hard. Kendall is not one to shy away from a hard ride. So let's hit the bike and knock out these 2 BLINK-182 classes. I feel like I had extremely high expectations for that ride, and because of that, I was a little let down, but overall it was still a good ride, still had a blast. We'll start off with the 10-minute Bradley Rose ride. This one was more of a letdown to me. There was nobody in the studio audience, which kind of makes sense because it was just a 10-minute warm-up ride, but honestly I wish that they did have a studio audience. Like, whether he was teaching a different class afterwards and they stack them, just because I feel like Bradley really thrives with an audience and like to go off of people. And I just feel like it was a little sad. Like he was chipper, but I feel like it could have been even better if he had an audience. But the vibes were good. We got warmed up, very basic warm up, but we were feeling good after the 10 minutes. We, did some out of the saddle work, some speed pushes. Very typical workout. Then for Kendall's ride, there was a studio audience, and you could tell that the studio audience was super, super hype. Again, I'm jealous. I do think that the way that Travis Barker was presented in this, it was still cool, but compared to her shadowboxing class where she was actually like in the studio with him, it would have been so much cooler if he was like in the studio. But I get logistically it makes it hard because the studio's in New York and he resides in LA. So when they did the shadowboxing, I think that Kendall was in LA. At least that's what it seemed like to me. But here it was basically just spliced together. He played drums for a couple songs, not all of them. And like, it was cool to see him drum, but I feel like it wasn't as cool as the shadowboxing class. So then I was like, yeah, this is just like fine. Also, at this point, I've taken so many classes with BLINK-182 music. I feel like the novelty has somewhat worn off, but overall, it was a pretty good class. I think it was a pretty good balance of like hard pushes, but also having recovery. Sometimes Kendall is too hard for me. So it was nice that I felt like it was manageable without it being like super easy, super hard, like pretty middle of the road for her. And the energy was good. Like you could tell she was really, really enjoying it. The audience was enjoying it. Like it was an enjoyable ride. It just wasn't like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. For me, like I already know I will repeat the BLINK-182 run with Camila again. This Kendall ride, I don't know if I'll repeat it. We'll see. So that's kind of where I'm leaving it. I feel like my favorite out of this collection was the run, but the ride was probably number 2. So it's still a good class and I'd recommend you take it if you like BLINK-182. I feel like today there was a little more take off your pants and jackets representation, which I appreciated. Like Kendall played Stay Together for the kids and I was like, wow, this is a good song. I haven't listened to it in a while. Maybe Take Off Your Pants and Jacket is my favorite album. Jury is still out. Also, I would love to know just like the details of how this whole deal it was worked out. I'm so curious, like who was like Travis should be playing drums during these classes. Like I do think it's an interesting idea and I'd love to see a collaboration like this in the future, but I would just love to know what the origin of this artist series ride was. So that is it for this video. Let me know if you've taken these BLINK-182 classes. If so, what you think of them, which is your favorite. If you've taken the row one, let me know how it is. I really wish I could take it. And also let me know what your favorite BLINK-182 album is. I'd be very, very curious. As you can see, I cannot decide which one is mine. I hope you guys are staying safe, having an awesome week, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.